People, all right, let's do this. We haven't filmed in what, 2-3 days? Maybe a bit longer. So there should be plenty to talk about. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. It all helps. It all helps, people. All right, let's start with this one. Dimitri Bivol questions Canelo's negotiating tactics. Says it was wrong to demand a catchweight fight against Badou Jack. I agree with the latter part of this. I thought the idea of Canelo versus Badou Jack at a catchweight of 180 pounds was silly. And Badou Jack had to have a rehydration cap in there as well. Yeah, that was silly. It was never going to work. Hence why that fight didn't get off the ground. And both fighters have moved in different directions. It is, though, difficult for me to question Canelo's negotiating tactics. I mean, I am questioning the negotiating tactics of the richest boxer on the planet. A guy that makes a minimum $25 million a fight. And has been doing so for the best part of, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years, maybe a bit longer. Maybe. So it's difficult to question his tactics. Look, I get some people don't like these catch weights and rehydration caps. Unfortunately, and I don't really like them myself, they're part of the sport. But Canelo, whatever he's doing it right. Because this guy makes money, puts bums on seats and sells more pay-per-views than any fighter fighting today. I mean, look at the situation recently. Look, Canelo wanted the Bivol fight. This is the offer. No, move on. Badou Jack, this is what we want to do. No, move on. Free fight deal with PBC. Where he's going to make, I'm guessing in that free fight deal, anything between 80 and, depending upon the fight, 80 and $140 million. He's going to make bank. I mean, they've got fighters over there which will generate, I think, massive pay-per-view buys. So look, Canelo might not be your favorite cup of tea, but in terms of negotiating, he's probably the best out there. Probably. Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya's a effing complete idiot. Munguia is probably the worst managed career I've ever seen. I mean, these two just don't stop. I mean, this Eddie versus Oscar and Oscar saying things about Eddie and Eddie responding is just, it's kiddie stuff. Honestly, like surely someone at DAZN is seeing this and thinking, okay, look, guys, both of you come here. Both of you work for me as a broadcaster. Just stop. But I don't know. Maybe it's a case of controlling the uncontrollables. I'm not quite sure. Back to Eddie's point about Munguia. Look, it's not been a greatly managed career, is it? I mean, Munguia is what, 42-0, 43-0? But no one speaks of him as a top fighter. He should be having big fights. The only saving grace, I think, for Oscar is that Munguia is quite young still. He's quite young, so there's still time to build him. But he can't be having fights like he did against Derevyanchenko, because regardless of your age, you're going to put miles on the clock and you're going to be done before you get to 32, 33. So we'll see. I did see something about Oscar saying he wants to make Munguia versus David Benavidez. He ain't making that fight. Right now, there's a lot of talk coming out of Oscar and nothing else. So look, we'll see what happens with Munguia. There's good fights out there for him. That's the thing. I don't know if they're big money fights out there for him, but there's good fights sort of in and around his level right now, because I'm not quite sure where he is. He's certainly not an elite middleweight, but he's no scrub either. So there are good fights out there. I think Eddie said Belanga. Belanga's a good fight. Belanga's a good fight for him. So look, we'll see if those fights, I doubt it, but we'll see if a Belanga versus Munguia fight can be made. Sean Porter and Tank Stevenson. It's the best fight in boxing to be made. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Not only is it the best fight, it's a fight that can generate a lot of money as well. I mean, I would love to see that fight. It almost seems unrealistic. It's crazy because we've had a decent year so far in terms of matchups, but that fight just seems to be, it feels like that fight might drag like Spence Crawford dragged. And I don't know, I feel like Gervonta, I think, will tap out at 140. I think he's even undersized for 140. And by the time it comes round, Shakur could have gone through the weights already. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll see this fight, you know. I don't know. I think it's a great fight. It really is. A boxer puncher in Gervonta Davis. Yes, he can box. And just a supreme boxer in Shakur Stevenson. Mate, absolutely love that fight. Tyson Fury promises that something big is coming. It's show-stopping. Tyson Fury is he's just a character, isn't he? You know what it is about Fury? He's a bit like all of us. You know, like when you get big information about anything. I don't know if you guys, you know, like when someone says, don't say anything, but this has just happened. And you say to your friend, look, I was supposed to not tell you, but this has just happened. Don't tell anyone. Tyson Fury is a bit like that. Where someone tells him, look, there's something big coming, but, you know, keep it under your nose. Don't say anything. And he can't control himself. He's like a little kid. He's like, look, this is happening. And he tells the world, like he did with, remember when he announced the AJ fight and it then didn't happen. But I don't know what big thing could be happening with Tyson Fury. There's only literally 2 or 3 fights out there that are big, like he says, show-stopping, that we will all go, oh my God. There's the Ngannou fight. I think we would all be like, whoa, it's happening. Him versus Ngannou. Usyk, Saudi Arabia is that. And then after that, nothing's really big, is it? It's just a case of Fury fighting. Like what else is show-stoppingly big? What else? There's nothing. It's not going to be AJ. It's not going to be a full fight against Wilder. Was he going to fight 3 people in the same night? It's not going to be Joe Joyce or Zhilei Zhang, and they wouldn't be show-stopping anyway. The only show-stopping fight, well, in fact, there's one more in that. There's Ngannou, because of the reaction, it will get a good reaction. There's Usyk, and then there's John Jones, which is crazy, but there's John Jones in a boxing ring, which it's show-stopping in the sense that it would get a lot of clicks. A lot of people will be talking about it, but in terms of it being a competitive fight in a boxing ring, it's a one-sided beatdown. It really is. It's one-sided. So I'm not quite sure what this show-stopping news is, but look, I wait to be enlightened as to what Mr. Tyson Fury is going to announce in the next couple of days. Conor Benn to present evidence of contamination to UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control. Finally, thank fuck for this. This has dragged on and on and on. I don't know what Conor Benn is going to say to UKAD. I'm not quite sure what he's going to say to the British Boxing Board of Control. But the first step is at least going to speak to them. This has been handled so badly. Like I don't think there is a right way or a good way to handle a positive drugs test. But there's a bad way and there's a negative way. And I think it's fair to say Conor Benn's handled it the bad way. Like whoever has been advising him, give your head a wobble. Honestly, give your head a wobble because it's not been good. I do wonder what this means because unless he can prove his innocence, and I'm not quite sure how he's going to do that, then he's going to get banned. And even if he doesn't, I still think he might get banned. So look, I'm not quite sure what happens, but it is a step in the right direction. Yes, it has come far too late, way too late, but it's a step in the right direction. And we wait to see what's the outcome of this because I don't know. I have no idea how this one plays out. Jarrell Miller still eager to replace Dillian Whyte, fight AJ in August. I did see Dillian Whyte come out and say something about he has received the contract and there's a few things in there he doesn't like. Like one of the things, pardon me, one of those things is a rematch clause. I hate rematch clauses and I don't understand why it's there either. It makes sense to have a rematch clause if there's a world title on the line, right? And anything can happen. You do want a rematch clause in there when it comes to a world title, but there's no belts here. There's no belts. I don't understand why Team AJ would want to put in a rematch clause. And to be fair to Dillian Whyte, I don't even know why you're anti it anyway. Like surely, if you were to beat AJ, maybe it's the terms of the rematch clause. I don't know, but sometimes people think too far ahead. I remember Dillian Whyte thought about this when AJ offered to fight Whyte before AJ fought Jarrell Miller or was going to fight Jarrell Miller, then fought Andy Ruiz. Remember, it was supposed to be Dillian Whyte. And Dillian Whyte said something very similar, like, oh no, the terms in the rematch. I'm like, dude, fuck that. Just fight. Just go and fight. Like, I don't know. But obviously there's clearly something wrong or he doesn't like in the terms and they're going to have to get that ironed out as well. Both of these guys need to be careful about this. More so Dillian Whyte. I mean, Dillian Whyte's not fought since November against Jermaine Franklin. I'm not quite sure the draw that Dillian Whyte is right now. I'm not quite sure if he's that guy that's worth X amount anymore. Like, I don't know if Dillian Whyte's now a pay-per-view fighter. In fact, he's not a pay-per-view fighter anymore. I don't think he's a guy that can fill out an arena anymore. I don't know if he's ever been that, actually. But the reason I say Dillian Whyte needs to be careful is because I think Dillian Whyte is at the stage where there'll be some people coming through that potentially could beat him. Like, how many of you think Jared Anderson can beat him? Martin Bakoli will be a good fight. There's others as well. I don't think he'll make the money fighting those as he would fighting AJ. So he's got to be careful that AJ, I don't know, again, this is from the outside looking in, but I feel like he's got to be careful that Team AJ don't say, all right, fuck it then, bye. And you're thinking, okay, if AJ were to walk away from it, who's Dillian Whyte fighting? And is he making anywhere near the money that he would be for fighting AJ? Like, go on, realistically, who's out there? Who's out there that he's going to make money fighting right now? Oh, let's run through it. He's obviously not going to fight Tyson Fury. He's not going to fight Alexander Usyk. Wilder looks like he's going to fight Ruiz. Joyce is locked into Zhang. So, and who else is out there? Where's the money fight? So, and look, let's not forget, Dillian Whyte's no spring chicken. I think he's 34, 35. So, look, this one needs to be ironed out quickly. But if you're moaning about what's in the rematch clause, if that's the reason why you don't take the fight, then I don't know. This fight could get away from you and someone else could step in. That being said, I think AJ needs a good dance partner as well. So AJ needs Whyte, but Whyte needs clearly, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but you should, clearly Whyte needs AJ more than AJ needs Whyte. Fair? I think that's fair. We'll see. Natasha Jonas, frustrated by slow start to 2023, still aims for huge. Yeah, I think Natasha was the British Boxer of the Year last year, wasn't she? I think she had 3 fights that year, moved up in weight, won a belt, and then two belts in another weight class. So she's had a good 2022, but yeah, nothing in 2023. She fights this weekend on the undercard of Savannah Marshall's title crack. She goes down a weight class from 154 to 147. Let's see what she can do. I like Tasha. I think Tasha's a very, very good fighter. And if she can come down one more weight class and win against someone, then she could be in the mix to that little mix there of Chantel Cameron, maybe even a Sandy Ryan fight. We'll see how it plays out. But there's some good fights for Tasha in this sort of Indian summer of her career. Adama's trainer, all the stoppage did was rob us of a highlight reel knockout. There's been a lot said about this stoppage. I haven't watched the fight. I've only seen sort of highlights of it, and it did look like it was sort of one-way traffic. But it's difficult to make that judgment just from highlights. But I don't know, man. I like Breadman a lot. He was in the corner. And he seems very vocal. You know what it is about American fights? I'm going all over the place with this one. I was lucky enough I've been lucky enough to be ringside for a number of fights in America now. But there was one in particular. It was Galal Yafai's fight. Was it Galal? No, it wasn't Galal. Who was it? 1 second, please. I need to get this right. I don't want to get this wrong. I always get the brothers mixed up. And my brain's a bit fried right now. But basically, it was the undercard of Katie Taylor's fight against Amanda Serrano. Who was it? Galal Yafai. I should back myself. So he was fighting Cartagena. Yeah. And let me tell you now, I was right in the corner of his opponent. Right in the corner. So I was listening to the corner guys. His opponent was getting lit up. Lit up. And I was thinking, yeah, they're going to throw the towel in any second here because this is just one-way track. It was bad. Go and watch the fight back. And I could hear him in the corner saying, nah, he good. I'm like, he good? He's getting destroyed. The reason I say that is because I do feel like Americans, there is more of that he needs to go out on his shield. If you're going to knock him out approach, as opposed to maybe over here where it's like, okay, enough's enough. I think there is a bit of that. Like even in the Kalnaki defeat, like there was a time, like Kalnaki, I thought that fight could have been stopped about 8 times. But you let him go, and in the end, obviously, look, the stoppage happened. But I am more leaning to Adames. Is that how you say his name? Adames? I'm more leaning to him. I agree with this. I think the ref stoppage robbed them of their highlight reel knockout. I thought they were going to get a knockout. Again, that's only in the highlights I've seen, especially the end of that stoppage. It's funny because the referee jumps in. He jumps in at like a second too late, so it looks like a bad stoppage. I think maybe a few seconds earlier, I don't think it would have been as bad. Just my take on it. Very quickly, Adrien Broner. I saw an interview of Adrien Broner. I don't know who the outlet was, but it was an awful interview. And Adrien Broner looks like he's in a really bad way again. I don't know if it was drunk or recreational drugs, but it doesn't look good. And I was thinking about the outlet. Like, again, I don't know who it is. Feel free to tell me. I don't know if they've put up the full clip or the full video, but I saw a clip on social media doing the rounds. And I'm just disgusted as to how that even gets out. Like, there's so many people to blame here. Obviously, look, Broner's the first person to blame. Like, Broner's in a state he should not be in. Number one, we get it. But we all know Broner. Like, I'm not surprised to see him in that state. What I am surprised to see is someone to watch that footage, as we all do, right? We watch what we film and think, you know what, I'm going to put it up. Like, where's the human side to this thing to say, you know what, nah, maybe not, Broner doesn't look like he's in a good state. Maybe we shouldn't put that up. Or you know what, maybe you reach out to one of Broner's teams and look, we just did this with Broner. What do you think? And then they'll say, no, don't put it up. So there's so many people to blame here. Broner's people, whoever Broner was with, because Broner kept referring to a friend in there who might have been high and drunk as fuck as well. But that guy, you're with Broner, you know what he's like. Maybe you say, you know what, we don't film today. It's difficult to apportion full blame onto the media outlet just because, I'm guessing that it's a YouTube outlet and you've been wanting that interview. You've been waiting for it. A Broner interview. You've been waiting and waiting. Broner, can we get it done? Can we get it? Yeah, I'll get it done. And then you get it done. You've been waiting for it. It's difficult for you not to chuck it up. But there has to be a responsibility. Not everything can be about clicks and views. There has to be a responsibility. I've had it. Different kind of level, but I've had it when I done interviews with Coley in my studio and Conor Benn as well, where we're doing the interview. I watched it back just before and I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that bit, maybe I should have a word, maybe take that bit out. For me, that would have got me more clicks, more views, because I would have used that. But out of my own conscience, I was like, you know what, Coley, that bit you said there, and it's funny because it was about Eddie Hearn, so it's weird how it's all worked out. But I was like, oh man, you had a dig there. I mean, you're still signed to Matchroom. You sure you want to keep that? And he was like, maybe you're right. We took it out. I've had stuff with Conor Benn, small bits, but I'm like, you sure? Take it out. To protect them. For me, it would have given me views. So I've done, so sometimes you've got to it's just wrong, innit? It's just bullshit. It's wrong. And it ain't good to see. Ain't good to see at all. Let's have a look very quickly, see if there's anything else. I am going up to, I want to do a separate video on Wilder Ruiz. I see Wilder make the video saying, we offered you a lot of money. Let's get this done. Be interested to see what happens. I'm going up to Sheffield Thursday to interview Dalton Smith. Obviously, it's Dalton Smith versus Sam Maxwell. British and Commonwealth titles on the line, £140. Should be a good scrap. I expect Dalton to win that one by stoppage, but we'll see how it plays out. But be interesting to see how that fight card. There's 2 fight cards on the same night as always. It'll be interesting to see which one people tune in for. So you got Franchon Cruz Dezern, is that how you say her name, versus Savannah Marshall. Dalton Smith versus Sam Maxwell. I don't know. We'll see. Peace and love.